thank everybody for popping in. For those of you who are here live, welcome to Live Office Hours. If we haven't met, my name is Nikki Loney from Full Voice Music, and Live Office Hours is an opportunity for teachers to ask questions and for Mim and I to give you the best answers we know at the moment, and to share resources, not just our own, but resources that are really helpful for our teaching studios. So today our topic is all about no singing lessons, and I'm going to share my screen, and everybody's going to let me know. Can everybody see my screen? Awesome. Now, of course, I can't see my screen. Hang on one second. Let's see where my screen is. There it is. Okay, I figured it out. Everything disappears, right? And I also want to encourage people to pop things into the chat. So it's an interactive thing, questions, comments, experiences. The chat is for there. Mim is going to be monitoring the chat and as we get through our presentation. So today, we are talking about that thing that happens all the time in our studios when our students show up and they can't sing. Now, for people watching the replay, if we haven't met, my name is Nikki Loney, and Full Voice Music is a small but so fierce publishing company in Canada. We specialize in resources for voice teachers who are working with beginner young singers. And in addition to our resources, we share a lot of pedagogy, and we have our podcast, we have really well-written blogs, we do all sorts of workshops, and of course these webinars are part of our teacher training and our professional development opportunities. And of course we also have online courses for people that prefer to do things on their own time. Because for my guests here, this is going to be so lovely for you. The prize today is access to our online course, Play-Based Learning, Engagement, and Lesson Pacing. Now, if you've already done this course, fear not, I've thought about this. You can also, if that is not what you would like to take away if you are a winner, we're sending out class sets of our 2 freebie songs, Hot Chocolate or Gingerbread Man, and you can decide which one. And in this package, there's a package of 10 little choral-sized booklets, and they come with fun stickers and lots of activities on them. So, course or a fun class. Everybody's giving me the hearts in the chat. Thank you. So let's get into our topic today. So my friends, there are always going to be understandable reasons why our students may not be able to participate in their lesson with their singing voice. Now, obviously, vocal fatigue or strain or this time of year, illness or allergies, those are common things. And we need to have activities and plans in case in our teaching toolbox. It needs to be a big teaching toolbox, but there's other reasons why our students might not be able to participate. If you are dealing with teenagers, braces, oh my gosh, those things hurt. And you're not going to be pulling out tongue twisters and singing tongue twister songs when they've just had those things tightened. And I have a 14-year-old that has a mouthful of them, and that tightening has brought him to tears. So we may need to have an alternate plan for something like that. But the other thing that we often have to think about is nervousness or anxiety, right? If a student comes to us and they are not regulated, they're upset, or their fight or flight switch has gone off, we are not going to get much out of them, but there's ways that we can accommodate them, and we're going to talk about that today. Now, I always like to address the elephant in the room when we do our live office hours. When our students don't want to or can't sing, it makes everybody feel a little icky, right? Parents are like, oh my gosh, I'm paying for these lessons. The kids are like, oh no, I sound really horrible. The teacher's like, what am I going to do? How am I supposed to show them that this is a productive lesson? What am I supposed to do? My lesson plan is tanked. So I want to start by addressing the biggest question that I got from everybody who registered, which is the fact that many families do not see the value in a no singing lesson. And how do we convince them that this is like, there's more to singing lessons than just singing? And this was the number one question that I got from everybody through the registration. And 70 people registered, and this was the big question. So I want to have some fun in the chat. And because this is going to be unique to everyone in the chat, other than singing and singing exercises, what do you think what would be in a comprehensive singing lesson? So pop that in there. And I am going to encourage you not to do the compare and despair, because everybody has a different focus. If you are a musical theater teacher, you're probably doing acting activities. Your music theory, amen, yes, of course. But if you're doing musical theater, you might be doing acting. You might be helping them with monologues. You might be working on 16-bar audition cuts. That's different from other teachers. Rhythm and counting, rhythm. All right, cool. I have rhythm activities for everybody today. There's lots of different things. Breathing and body exercises. Yes. Working with the text, monologue, expression, musical story. Yes. There's so many things. Ooh, body mapping. Yeah. Theory, character development, different ways of quiet practicing. Ooh, gold stars, everybody. I encourage my voice students to play piano. Yes, absolutely. There was like when a big cold cough went around, I had a bunch of students that played ukulele for 2 weeks in their lessons. It was great because they were learning the ukulele song and we got to focus on that. Memorization. Ooh, that's a good one. Helping them memorize. All right. So great things. And I know that there's lots of different things that we can do. And most teachers understand that. So here's the trick question. Well, not a trick question. What do our students and parents think a comprehensive singing lesson is? So this is where what we think a comprehensive lesson is versus what a parent thinks a comprehensive lesson is might not be in alignment. Ooh, I haven't ever asked them. Oh, yes, right? So this is a little topic I'm very passionate about, and I want to share why. So I want everybody to incorporate this phrase. They don't know what they don't know. We often forget that parents may not have had experiences, or because I've had parents that are very new to music lessons and they've never experienced a music lesson before, a singing lesson before. They might have had previous experience with a different teacher that had a different approach. They might have had negative experiences. And you know what? I always ask parents what kind of experiences they've had. And I could write a 400-page book with all the negative experiences I have heard from parents. There is a lot of people that just have bad experiences from their past. So this is helpful information when we think about what we want them to know. And I also wanted to bring up how we handle and how we communicate with families. There is one thing that puts me on the rage train to angry town is when teachers in forums complain about parents. We use phrases like tiger mom or helicopter parents or stage parents. And that really stresses me out because I'm on the other side of the fence when it comes to my son and sports. So I am a musician. I've been a singer my whole life. I've gone to choir camp and been in the recording studio. Like my whole life and my husband's life has revolved around music. We were blessed with a child that wanted nothing to do with music and likes to play sports. Let me tell you, my friends, coaches are lousy communicators. And I spend my life sending emails, phone calling, asking questions, and I am pretty sure that I am that mom. And I don't appreciate it because I pay a pretty penny for all of the events and the training and the seasons. I pay a lot of money, and I often get treated as a nuisance because I just have questions. And lousy accountants. Oh, yes. Ooh. So when you are on the other side of a service and you have questions and you don't know what you don't know and people make you feel worse about it, it really affects your relationship with them. And I mean, I think a lot of us have been experienced being on the other side. So it's helpful when we're working with families to recognize that they don't know what they don't know, and how can we be a better communicator. The other thing that families don't know, especially people that took lessons like a decade or 15 or 20 years ago, is that we do not teach like we did 20 years ago. My lessons are very different. We have incredible student engagement tools. We have embraced flexible learning models to embrace safer spaces and more inclusive spaces. We have student-centered instruction, so we are working towards student advocacy, right? We also have a global networking collaboration now. We can connect with teachers from around the world. We can follow teachers on our social media platforms and be inspired every day. We also have convenient professional development, like live office hours, where you can come and have your lunch in your pajamas. We won't judge at all. And of course, access to resources. One of the challenges when I first started teaching 30-something years ago was there were no resources, none, for singing students. Piano teachers had a few, right? Piano teachers had a few, but singing teachers had nothing. That is not the case anymore. We have lots of resources. Parents didn't have these experiences. So here's my big question. How do we communicate and, more importantly, celebrate our teaching philosophies and our studio culture? How do we do this? Now, it starts before they even get started with us. So having a written policy explaining before things even happen about what happens when students aren't going to be singing. Now, if you want to take a picture of this next slide, there's some beautiful language here that you are more than welcome to steal, because I have taken my language from a lot of different resources and honed it over the years. But in your policies, and FYI, I don't know who needs to hear this, policies are not a list of things that piss you off. They are, and what will happen if you cross the line, policies are a way of onboarding and celebrating your studio culture and letting people know how best to do business with you. And they can set you up for success. Now, I know what you're saying, but nobody reads the policies. I get that. We'll get there in a second. So the language in here, and language is currency. So there's some key words in here. At your studio, our lessons are designed to be comprehensive, incorporating both singing and non-singing activities. Right there, you're setting them up for what your studio offers. This is to ensure well-rounded vocal development. Really important words. Music to a parent's ears. In addition to vocal exercises and song study, lessons also include essential elements, and then you fill in the blank of what is important to you. Exploring new music, discussing performances, and understanding vocal techniques are integral to becoming a skilled and confident singer. Now, a lot of teachers we want to talk about vocal health. Instead of showing them pictures of vocal hemorrhaging, which I had a teacher do that to me once, and I was like, what? Thank you. You can start by just saying, we prioritize vocal health, and explain why we're not singing. And I'm going to jump back into the sports. I didn't know why there were pitch count rules and how the resting happened for my son when he plays ball. I had no clue. I didn't know that he could only pitch on one day but have 2 days rest. All of that was new. And it's not written anywhere. It's not on a website. It's nowhere to be found. So how am I supposed to know? So if you have this out there, and this should be on your website. If you are a teacher who teaches hybrid, set up the expectations for when students should stay home, but are able to still participate. And then again, language is currency. Your growth as a singer involves more than just singing. This language in the policies, and you go through this in your first onboarding lessons. And you review it with students that have been with you for a while. They probably have forgotten. The parents are, oh, yeah, you can do online lessons. Okay, I forgot that. Sure. Yeah, okay. So, and the reminders, right? I always used to send out a friendly reminder like the middle of September, or the beginning of October, about how we handle illness. Because as soon as the kids went to school, they'd all get something. So I would just send out reminders. I would do it in my social media posts. I would send out a friendly email. I'm so happy we're getting started. Thank you so much. I've got an exciting year planned. And oh, by the way, if your student feels sick, this is the protocol. So those reminders are really helpful. The other thing that we can do, which is easy and fun, is educate people in our social media posts about all the other things that our kids are doing in the lesson. So this picture, the first picture there, is the percussion instruments, which was always wild when I gave the kids the percussion instruments, but such an effective, fun thing to get them started. Score discovery. I always used to play a score discovery game. So there's my little singer there, Courtney, and she's like loving the game. And then of course, flashcard games. I have a lot of flashcard games that I would do on the floor. Here's my class having a great time doing the flashcard games. So these kind of posts not only celebrate your studio and your students, they educate your families that there's a lot going on in our lessons and it's not just singing a song. And of course, the other thing is celebrating individual students and letting parents know how students are succeeding in all of the other non-singing activities. So, sending out a message like, oh, I just wanted to let you know, she's really doing well in her theory book. We got this question, she really has a good understanding of it. Like those little small feedback, fortune is in the feedback, comments going to parents means a lot, and it reassures their commitment and their investment in the lessons. So let's put some fun tools into our teaching toolbox. I've got some fun activities. You can't see my desk, but it's covered in stuff right now. I mean, it's always covered in stuff, but this is fun stuff today. All right, so let's start with our students who are shy or nervous, unregulated, upset, and will not sing. My favorite, when I see a student come in and they are just not in a place where they are comfortable or confident, one of my favorite things is role reversal. And this is a wonderful technique because it gets them off of the hot spot. So if I see a little one coming into my studio, I know that they're really struggling or they're really shy, they're very uncomfortable. I might say to them something like, I feel like sitting on the floor today. That's a much more grounded space. I would not put them beside the piano and make them sing out into the room. That's not what they're ready for. So we might move to the floor where it's more grounded. And I might say to them, do you think you can help me today? I would like you to be my teacher. And I'm sarcastic with my kids. So I say, and you get to boss me around and you can be a mean teacher. And that often cracks a smile. When you crack a smile, you're in the right direction. And I can give them any activity. Usually I might start with hand signs. So I'd be like, I need to review my do, re, mi's. Could you sign them for me? And I'll sing them for you. And we'll play a little game. And then I'll say something like, you are a very nice teacher. Could you like make it harder for me? And of course that you'll see the evil smile. Like they were like, oh yes, I will. So any type of activity where you have role reversal. Now, I have also done it with my snarky, moody teenagers where I'm like, oh, I see you want to be the boss today. Okay, sit at the piano. You tell me what to do today. You make me sing an exercise. Which exercise would you like me to sing? And I have had some amazing breakthrough lessons with my moody teenagers and it's a great assessment tool because I'll ask them, what exercise do you want me to do? Well, you know the one. I'm like, which one? Well, the one that you make me do. And I'm like, I make you do tons of them. Which one are you talking about? You know. And I'm like, well, like, can you play it? Or can you give me a starting note? And it really puts them on the spot for language. What is this exercise? Is it an arpeggio? Is it a triad? Is it ascending, descending? You know, do you want to make me sing super high or super low? So again, role reversal can work for all ages. And especially, you know, teenagers or people who might need to just, again, be off the hot seat and have a different experience. Now, don't think that this is not a productive lesson because I guarantee switching that role focuses on different things. You're going to get an idea of what they are comfortable with and what they are not. And there might be some holes in their understanding that, you know, next time when things are back to where it is, you can fill in the blanks and do some I was going to say damage control. That's what I think of it sometimes. But then you can fill in the blanks and you can kind of get them up to speed. Now, the most important thing when it comes to our students in creating safer spaces and creating student-led is let them choose. So I might say to a student, again, language is currency. Hey, it sounds like your voice is a little tired today. You know, we could have fun doing other activities and we can rest your voice today, but still have a lot of fun. What are some of the other activities that you really like? And let's have fun with them. Now, for those of you, and I'm just going to stop my share here. For those of you who have invested in the Forest Adventure cards, there is a very important card in the deck. And this is the card, we tested these. This is the card that the kids want more than anything else. It's very simple. Teacher sings a forest adventure song, which again, role reversal. So then my students would put together a little song. And of course I tell them, you can be a mean teacher. You can make it a really hard song. So they're going to put on the stand or on the ground, a forest adventure song for me to sing. And then I'm going to ask them questions like, what should I do? Should I do this fast? Where's my starting note? You can also take these cards and instead of singing them, you can practice the hand signs if you're using solfege. What's the hand signs for these? You can practice clapping rhythms. In the deck, there's already rhythm cards. So level that up with some rhythm sticks and you have a wonderful activity that's in their bodies. It's very kinesthetic because anytime you're holding flashcards just light the brain up. So you can modify any game, role reversal, or explore them in different ways where you're using a common prop or a common resource, but you're just taking the singing or doing very gentle speaking with that game. Now I'm going to go back to my screen here. This is one of the slides from the play-based learning course, the online course. One of the things that is at the heart of all teaching is teaching through observation. So, and it's far more than just assessing vocal ability. Sometimes our brains are wired to hear the voice and want to address all of the things we hear. But here are 4 questions that help us teach to their strengths and to create engaging lessons. So first of all, what activities do they love? If I have a student come in and I know they've had a bad day or their voices need to be rested, I will go to an activity that they love first and foremost. It's also important to understand what they are interested in, what they love, and how can you weave that into their experience. I've had more of my students meow scales or use the bongo cat for rhythm Mim, would you mind putting the link to Bongo Cat in the chat? If you haven't seen, has anybody seen Bongo Cat? It's just a little web page where you can play rhythms and into the thing, and then this little cartoon cat plays the bongos or the marimba. Amazing. It's amazing. The kids love it. The other thing we want to take note of is, when are they most successful? These are the activities that we start with, and then we move into new activities where they need more time and more prep, because then we're starting with their strengths. They feel confident, they feel good, they're engaged, they're interested, and then we weave that new information in there. And most importantly, when do they smile and laugh? A child that is smiling and laughing is engaged. And this is hard. So a big hug to all my colleagues. Music, studying music at the advanced levels is not fun and games. It is stressful. And many people have not only small t trauma, but big T trauma from our experiences post-secondary. It doesn't have to be like that, and it shouldn't be like that for the beginners. We're trying to find the love of singing, not the struggles of singing and trying to make it as a professional. We'll save that for later, like decades later. Now, I want to move into what to do for students who are unwell or recovering from illness. And my screen just disappeared. Oh, there we are. Okay, so this is a big thing, and a lot of questions are, what criteria do you use to judge if a student shouldn't or can't sing? And I wanted to say, first of all, common sense, but this is actually a great question, because our students won't advocate for themselves. They do not have the confidence or the knowledge or the awareness, maybe, to be able to come into a lesson and say, you know what, I'm a little under the weather. My voice is a little tired. Do you mind if we could do something else? And it is not just your kids. I have adults that have come in and tried to disguise the fact that they've had a raging lung infection for 3 weeks because they want to get their lesson in because they've paid for it. So a lot of our work is helping them to learn to advocate for themselves, to be able to be aware, and teaching them, because the answer is it really depends, right? It really depends on the student, whether or not they should or should not be singing. And I mean, I always want to play it on the safe side. I always want to resting the voice. There's so many other things we can do in a lesson. I don't ever feel like it's not going to be productive, but I think it's a helpful conversation to help them, this is when I choose to rest my voice. This is when I need to do it. It can take longer for the singing voice to come back after an extended period, and you're helping them to understand. So here are some fun activities for those people that have to rest their voice for whatever reason. Cold, allergy, braces, COVID. Oh, goodness. So, here's another question. How can I make it feel like time well spent? Good question. And how do I keep them engaged? How can I make my students feel like they are learning when not singing? So I'm going to teach everybody the level up game. I hope you're ready. So on our website, there is a free download. You may have it in your collection. It's called Lyric Discovery, and it's a 2-page thing that has all sorts of questions when looking at a song. One of my favorite activities to do with this is the bottom, at the very end of it, there is, what is your favorite line? What is your favorite phrase to sing? And we will start with a conversation. What is your favorite line? Can somebody just put their favorite line of a song in the chat? And because we're going to workshop it. All right. So it doesn't matter any genre, any genre. One of the ones that I love and that wrecks me every time, of course, is from On My Own. The world is full of happiness that I have never known. That line kills me every time. So go ahead and put whatever, from a jazz standard, from a musical theater, whatever. Don't do another language, because I'll be like, stuck. So any favorite lines in there? I know I just put you all on the spot. So I ask my students, we go through, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. Oh, I love that. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mim, for that. Once you've gone through the lyric discovery, you've talked about it. Now, I'm going to back up for a second. Lyric discovery is interesting because reading and reading comprehension are two very different skills. And even your teenagers may not truly understand language. Language is often poetic. That can make it very confusing. So please make sure that take your time, discover the words, go through all that stuff. Oh, I've got some lyrics here. Fabulous, fabulous. Okay. So I would get my student to write their favorite line. So I'm going to take Anna Marie. So the closer I am in love to you, the closer I am to free. Oh, there's a lot of meat in that one. All right. So I would say to my students, let's go through that. Let's speak that a few times. But then this is where we have some fun. Then I'm going to bring in Ann Baltz's attitude cards. So if you have not purchased these, invested in these, they are worth every penny. So I would say to my student, here's the line, okay? But now you have to say it worried. Now, I know that's not appropriate for the line, but try it. So everybody say, the closer I'm in love to you, the closer I am to free, right? Oh, are you worried? I don't know. Okay, then I might say, we'd laugh about that. I'm like, and then we might talk about it. Is that what the character is doing? No, they're not worried. Okay, and then I might, if I really want to have a good laugh, I might say, try it, disgusted. Okay, everybody say that line or any of the lines. I'm going to do, where's the one? I'm going to do Mims. It's heaven when you find romance on your menu. Ah, gross, right? So, see how we leveled up there? Now we're working on acting skills. Now we're working on expression. But wait, there's more. This is where you will be the rock stars teacher that I know you already are. So, you've got your expression card. All right, so let's say, I'm going to go back to the world is full of happiness that the world is full of happiness that I have never known. That's my favorite line. So I'm going to say to my student, okay, you're going to do it confident. The world is full of happiness that I have never known. But now the other thing that's in the deck are gesture cards. So while I say it confidently, I'm going to pop my hand on my hip, and I got to work this gesture into my favorite line with confidence. The world is full of happiness that I have never known, right? So we're getting them into their bodies, and there's some really wonderful, watch. The world is full of happiness that I have never known, right? So again, taking a simple activity, adding some acting, adding some gestures. These are a delight. They're worth every penny. And for those of you that don't know, Ann Baltz was the educator behind the Opera Works program. So there's her website right there. If you haven't invested in them, they're so much fun. And again, nobody's going to leave your studio feeling like they didn't learn something with a simple level up exercise. Now, let's talk about rhythm and feel, because a lot of you said that in the chat earlier about other activities. I personally feel that we do not do enough rhythm and feel with our vocal students. And I truly believe, being a professional studio musician and a professional singer, that it doesn't matter how great of a singer you are. If you struggle with rhythm and feel, you become an accompanist's nightmare. And that's going to really limit your opportunities later on. And this is not something that we can jam in. This is an ongoing skill that we keep developing through our lives. So on our website, we have 2 free downloads that are great for this time of year. We've got the hot chocolate warm-up, and we've got Gingerbread Man, which is just a cool swingy song about gingerbread man. And they have backing tracks with a rhythm section. So they have drums and bass and piano and guitar, and they are wonderful. So with that type of exercise, if we are resting our voices, you can focus on playing the track. And I highly recommend that you play the track. I know some of you are amazing accompanists, but let them hear the drums, the bass, the rhythm section, because it's very helpful. So you could do an exercise where you're playing the track and they're just clapping the beat. And that is actually very challenging for some of our students, including our adults. I also like to explore clapping the rhythm of the melody. So this is an audiation skill. So they've got to think about the melody, and then they have to tap that melody on their hand. Chocolate, chocolate, hot and steamy. That is a very important exercise. Now, leveling up, throw some percussion instruments in there. Rhythm sticks are pennies. You can get a whole class set of rhythm sticks for like $5. And I've seen them at the dollar store, right? Awesome dollar stores that have percussion instruments. So add percussion instruments into it and just get, again, hands-on. Hands-on, minds-on learning, always, right? Or any prop. Now, one of the things that I picked up, and okay, I guess I stole from my Dalcroze training when I did my Kadai stuff, they brought Dalcroze in for some sessions. One of the things that I do, and it depends on your student, but if you want to level it up, play the track and ask them to get used to catching the ball on the beat. Chocolate, chocolate, da 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 da, na 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 na. That is hard. When I first did my Dalcroze, I am not in my body like I would like to be in my body. It was really hard. And again, you may have students that might struggle with a tennis ball, and if they're always dropping it, it's going to be a distraction. But you could have a larger ball. Chocolate, chocolate, da, da. There's different sizes. A softer Nerf ball might be a little bit easier. You could use a hacky sack or even a bean bag. Bean bags are probably the best with your littles, right? And yes, I have chased this ball around my studio many times. I've also, in online lessons, asked students, sent an email, I need you to have a ball on your side of the call. And they're like, what? I'm like, yep, you just wait. So again, you're leveling up. It's a simple activity, but you're just using the body in a different way. So I hope that I've given you some ideas about leveling up, adding extra activities on simple foundational activities. I have a couple of announcements before we get into our draws. First and foremost, I want to just say this, you are doing a great job. All right. I want to celebrate everybody. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for never-ending professional development. But one of the things we have to remember is communicating is hard. And we can all be better at communicating. So whether it's writing a good email or a concise email or cleaning up our policies, making sure our website is really clean with our messaging, our social media posts are well written, and having sometimes hard or difficult conversations with people and just expressing this is what I feel, this is what I'm seeing. So keep working at your communication skills. It does make a difference. It does make a difference. And it is challenging. I think this is one of poor communication is a huge trigger for me. I get really frustrated. Now, Couple of announcements before the prizes. Next week on Sunday, if you are interested in small group classes, if you're thinking of offering that, this is my last workshop, and Jennifer's coming. Yes, I can't wait. Poor Jennifer, I invited her to the jazz workshop last night. She's like, no, I don't want that. So this is my last workshop for online small group classes, introductory small group classes. It is, if you want to get that started in 2025, would be the place to start. The other thing, oh my gosh, friends, it's coming. It's coming so soon. Teaching singing to children and young adults, Ginevra's 3rd edition. We are in final. We can see and smell the finish line. And I want to shout out to Mim, who has been working her butt off trying to get that index ready and everything. But we are in the last steps before it goes to print. So this will be coming out probably late November. And this is a wonderful book. Ginevra is incredible. Now, I think that's all I have to remind people. So I want to thank everyone for coming out today. Now, if you came in halfway through or if you're just jumping in, this recording will be on our YouTube channel in about a few days. It depends when we get all of that stuff sorted. So all of our live office hours recordings live on our YouTube channel, and there are some amazing there's some really great live office hours. Donna Rodenizer just did one a little while ago about games for singing games. And Ginevra Williams has come in and talked about vocal health. So if you got, my thing, I used to do this, just a little tip. I used to do this at the end of my teaching day when I was kind of unwinding and just, cleaning up my studio. I would just throw on YouTube videos, whether I was learning new songs or listening to new musicals, and I would just throw them on as I was cleaning up. So it's a good way to multitask. So, my friends, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. And as always, I am wishing everybody inspired teaching and happy singing and all the success or happy no singing, if that is what's needed. And I'm wishing everybody all the success as we move close to 2025. Oh my gosh. So thank you, everybody. And I will see you next time on the live office hours. Thank you. Bye, Kathy. Bye, everyone.